Madam Chairperson, I rise to speak on behalf of my party, the Biju Janata Dal, on the address by the Honorable President of India to joint session of Parliament, and to convey our gratitude to the Honorable President for having given his very important peroration to Parliament. The address by the Honorable President to Parliament is always significant for what it states and is equally significant for what it omits to state. And therefore, I'll have the opportunity perhaps here to deal with both aspects when I speak. Madam Chairperson, at paragraph 10, the Honorable President has stated that the people of the country have given this mandate to my government for the making of a new India where every region develops, no region is left behind, where the benefits of modern technology reach the farthest end of society. And then again at paragraph 71, the Honorable President states that in a federal country like India, it is imperative for fast-paced development that states compete with each other in development schemes and also share experiences with each other. My government has therefore been consistently emphasizing competitive cooperative federalism. Madam Chairperson, we the Biju Janata Dal are a regional party looking after the interests of the state of Orissa, the 4.5 crore people of Orissa. Honorable Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik ji has been re-elected for the 5th time, an unprecedented 5th election. He has won in Orissa, and I think the people of Orissa definitely look upon him as somebody who has the interests of Orissa at heart and therefore who is capable of protecting the interests of Orissa. But when the Honorable President speaks about competitive cooperative federalism, it must be in the context of a level playing field. There has to be a level playing field, otherwise unequals can never be equals, unequals can never fight on the same field. The Indian Constitution, Madam Chairperson, has been described by constitutional experts, which we read in school and college, as a federal polity with a unitary bias. Some periods in our democracy, for instance in the 70s and 80s, when muscular central governments came about, this became actually a unitary form with a very mild federal flavor. Today there's a muscular government, and therefore the states must be very vigilant that this doesn't again become a unitary government with a mild federal flavor. Be that as it may, I would like to point out to the House that the Honorable President has not mentioned something very significant. Why do I say it's a non-level playing field? Odisha has now been buffeted by 5 almost severe or super severe cyclones in the last 8 years. We've had Pailin, we've had Hudhud, we've had Titli, we had Foni, and now we've had Bulbul. 5 cyclones in 8 years, each cyclone with a capacity to take the state back almost 15 to 20 years. How does that keep us at par with other states which don't have these kind of natural calamities hitting them? We have been praised internationally. The Naveen Patnaik government has been repeatedly praised internationally by all sorts of organizations, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, for the barest minimum casualties in these 5 cyclones. The casualties actually can be counted on fingertips. But the damage that has been done to property, to infrastructure, is incalculable. So therefore, the central government, when it looks to distribution of largesse to states, has to keep this in mind, and therefore the Honorable Chief Minister has repeatedly requested that a special focus, a targeted focus be given to calamity-hit states like Odisha, which is something that the Honorable President's address does not find mention. The special focus would entitle us, I think, to an 80% to 20% or a 90% to 10% ratio, and that would help us recover much faster than we are able to recover today when these kind of cyclones and natural calamities hit us, because it's either drought or cyclone which hits Orissa. Madam Chairperson, I have to further state with a degree of sadness that profligate states seem to be benefiting under our system rather than states like Odisha, which have had a very stringent system both in terms of financial prudence and in terms of population control. And this is a very sad situation. Kindly see, the original 14th Finance Commission devolution to Odisha was 48,000 crores. By the time the vote on account of the last government came, it had come down to 39,000 crores. By the time the first budget of this government came, this has come down further to 37,000 crores. And today in the present budget, there is an estimate of 30,000 crores. So we are coming down from 48,000 crores now to 30,000 crores. And why does this happen? Because we are a revenue surplus state. Because we don't spend wantonly. Naveen Patnaik ji, since 2000, having been taken over as Chief Minister, has kept a very, very tight financial ship. And as a result of our financial prudence, we are getting punished. Kindly see, revenue deficit states are getting compensated unfairly. 14 states by the 15th Finance Commission are getting revenue deficit grants, which a state like Odisha is going to be denied only because of our fiscal prudence. The Finance Commission, on top of that, has now decided that urban local bodies will only give 50% of its grant to million-plus cities. We don't have any million-plus cities because we've also kept a cap on our population. So because we've had such a good record of population control in Odisha, we are going to therefore be doubly punished by not having a million-plus city. So therefore we don't get urban grant on that count, and we will only get a rural grant and be completely deprived of urban grant. So this is something that the central government must look into very carefully. This is something that the Honorable President has again not mentioned, so which is what we find is a little unfair to the state. GST compensation, Raut Sahab has already spoken. I am sure other states are suffering the same way. Odisha has got nothing from September onwards. So for the last 5 months, we have got nothing by way of our share of the GST compensation. So therefore, this is again something which completely cripples us in our efforts to bring our state back to normalcy after Cyclone Foni and Cyclone Bulbul. We have repeatedly requested the central government for a clean energy cess, because we are a state where the maximum mining takes place in terms of coal mining, in terms of iron ore, manganese. We are the repository of all industrial activity in the country. We suffer the pollution, our people suffer the air pollution, the water pollution. So therefore, we have been asking that give us a clean energy cess, which is a basic fundamental right, recognized, enshrined all over the world. We have so far not succeeded there. We've asked for a coal royalty revision, which is again something which would help us get out of this financial morass. The central government, for the last 8, 9, 10 years, every year the Honorable Chief Minister writes to the central government, be it the past governments, be it this government, that please give us a revision in coal royalty, because that gives us a sense of financial independence. That's not happening. This is something, again, which I think the Honorable President ought to have taken note of, that these are the demands of states like Odisha, which are just demands. Very sadly, yesterday, and this will be referred to in the budget reply, of course, by our party, archaeological sites. Odisha is the repository of the Kalinga civilization, which is a 2,000-year-old Kalinga civilization. There is not a single site in Odisha which has been taken as an archaeological site. Look at a site like Konarak, which is a world-famous site, which has the Sun Temple there, which has the most magnificent architecture and sculptures. Should have been easily recognized as one of the archaeological sites. That's not been done. We have a 38% tribal population, and we don't get a tribal museum. Is that fair? Madam Chairperson, most importantly, and I want to emphasize on this, this is something, again, the Honorable Chief Minister has repeatedly requested the centre. There is a census on now. The merits and demerits, the controversy, I don't want to get into. My Chief Minister doesn't want to get into it. But the difficulty Odisha has is that we have a 38% tribal population and a 12% SC, scheduled caste population. So this comes to almost 50%. And we have a very large OBC population, but we still don't have an enumeration of what is the OBC population. The Honorable Chief Minister, therefore, has repeatedly requested that in your census, where you say SC, ST, others, please say SC, ST, OBC and others. Because this will give the country an idea of what are the actual OBC numbers. Nobody in this country at the moment knows what are the OBC numbers, and it's not fair because they always get left out in the reservation, pro rata proportion, because nobody knows their numbers. So therefore, the Honorable Chief Minister has repeatedly requested. I urge the government, and I think the Honorable President ought to have taken note of this. So I urge the government to kindly ensure that there is an OBC enumeration which takes place. Madam Chairperson, I would also like to commend the government for certain steps the government has taken and the request of the Chief Minister. There's no question when the government accedes to certain of our requests, we have to be grateful. Phony assistance. I have said this on the floor of the House earlier, that the Honorable Prime Minister went to Orissa, immediately gave us a grant which helped us recover somewhat. Therefore, there is no question that when push has come to shove, the Honorable Prime Minister had looked to Orissa with some help. There's always also been a seamless transition from the lessee era to the auction era in the, as far as the EC and FC, which is the environment clearance and the forest clearance is concerned. And that is something, again, we are grateful for, because it stops, there is no stoppage of production. So therefore, Odisha does not suffer as far as productivity goes. We are happy on that. There has been an increased allotment in rural housing. We are grateful. The Prime Minister has now recently personally said that he is going to look into many of the stalled railway projects in the state. So therefore, we are grateful for that, that if he can give his personal attention, because the largest revenue that is given to the Indian Railways is from Orissa. 17,000 to 20,000 crores annually comes from Orissa. That's the largest revenue. We get a fraction of that back. Hardly 2,000, 2,500 crores is spent back. If you spend even 50% of the 17,000 to 20,000 crores, the estimate is railways will double their revenue. It will go to 40,000 crores from Orissa. So this is something that I'm sure somebody like the Honorable Prime Minister will recognize, and I'm sure he has recognized that. So on a personal level, as a Member of Parliament from Puri, I must say that I have a personal anguish, which the Honorable Culture Minister was here, but I think he's left now. But the BJP manifesto itself said that Puri would be regarded as would be encouraged to become the cultural capital of India. It's one of the 4 dhams. It is a place of worship where lakhs and lakhs of people go every year. So therefore, a cultural capital requires certain ingredients. I urge the central government to look towards Puri for special grants, because there is a massive drive underway at the moment to make Puri into a world-class city. So therefore, whatever help the central government gives in that regard would be a welcome step. And I think if the Honorable Prime Minister will be the first person, because he has been to that temple, he has the blessings of Lord Jagannath on him. The people of Odisha have showered great blessings on the BJP this time by way of the number of MPs that they have sent to Parliament. So therefore, I think it is incumbent on the Honorable Prime Minister as well as on the BJP to return the favor to Puri by giving grants to Puri to make it a world-class city so that it becomes the cultural capital. My colleague here from Kendrapada is also here, who is also very anxious that the pending railway projects in Kendrapada district and in Cuttack district also, which are very, very critical for our mining interests of the state and the country as a whole, that those be given precedence. So therefore, I have no doubt that when we have urged the Honorable Prime Minister, he will take note of this. At the end, Madam Chairperson, I would like to once again thank the Honorable President for having taken the trouble to have given us a complete conspectus of what the government's aims and ambitions for the coming year are. They are laudable, but there is a long distance to travel. I think the government having... That's why I said I am grateful. I am grateful to the Honorable Minister. I am grateful to the Prime Minister, but that he has actually given us this seamless connectivity from the old regime to the new regime, and that is why it has happened. Because people have the confidence, frankly, that there will be no stoppage. So therefore, where there is praise to be given, we will be the first to give unstinted praise. Our Chief Minister has repeatedly done that. When the whole spirit of competitive federalism, look, we have been the first to say cooperative federalism, we are number 1. We are with you. Competitive federalism, give us a level playing field. Orissa can take up the challenge, let me assure you, to be at par with the rest of the country. We will not be left lagging behind. I once again thank the Honorable President for having taken the trouble to address this. Very, very